And so I was like, you know what? I am going to do the thing that I wish people had done for me. I am a lover of people and young folks and stuff like that. And so I was like, I wish that people had used language to tell me that it was okay to be soft and gentle, that it was okay to exist in my skin as is. And so my work is to do that. And I can do that through language, right? I'm not an artist, but I'm a writer. But I also have learned the power of visual imagery, right? And love language. They like to pretend that love language is soft in a bad way. Oh, you're effeminate. Oh, that's, suck it up, right? I'm from the US. We suck it up, partner. I don't work like that. And a lot of time that language is used to devalue me and who I am. And so what you're looking at here is America Chavez as a kid and as the 19-year-old superhero. And I put my language and my love into those words, and I want to encourage all young people. You must discover yourself. You must look back into your histories and your legacies. You have the right to crack your ancestry wide open, despite whatever country you live in is telling you that you're too sensitive of a snowflake, that you don't deserve human compassion or dignity. When they are telling you this, when they are killing you and dragging your body in the street, know that you had always had the right to exist. You deserve to be here. And I get to put that in a comic. And her face, did I tell you she's also a Latina that can punch portals into other dimensions? But think about that. She don't need a green card. She doesn't need papers. She doesn't need permission from any government to travel anywhere that she needs to go. And when I think about her and how she was created in this world, and I think about the fact that she has two moms, I was like, what is a visual way to tell young queer kids that your love matters? And that you can manifest babies and families and energy in any way that you deem fit. There is no dialogue in this panel over here. But this is what I imagined it would be like if two Latinas from outer space loved each other so much that they just wanted to manifest a baby. Because I am in control of my reproductive health and my rights and my destiny. And on this panel, her moms, right? This was Marvel did this. They love sacrificing moms, right? All the cartoons are like, the moms are dead, everything's fine. But for this one, I was like, imagine if it was their choice to save the universe. And they did it together. And we threw a little Spanish in there without translation because I don't need to translate for you. And the most fun part about all of this is disrupting white supremacy. Wow. You know what's wild? I'm not even going to explain what that means. Because when I talk to high school students, they're like, yeah, we know this. We're doing this in class already. But white supremacist narratives come at us in all these wild and very discreet ways, right? Just imagine, right? You're in New York City, 59th Street, and Columbus. You get to be at a monument dedicated to someone who slaughtered a lot of people. That is somebody's hero. Somebody said, I love this guy so much, I'm going to build a statue for him. It's totally cool what he did to the indigenous folks. That's not cool with me. And imagine you're walking around the South and all these street names are named after like Confederate soldiers and generals. It's a world that says, hey, we are so glad that we enslaved you. We are so glad that we marginalized you. Look at all this wealth. In small ways, I am pushing back because your heroes are not my heroes. And I have the right to put my heroes in my work. Sonia Sotomayor is the first Puerto Rican woman to be Justice of the United States Supreme Court. What is the word? Appointed, there we go, appointed by Obama. Puerto Rican from the Bronx. Listen, 3 blocks she grew up from my parents' house, and I'm always like, out of all the Puerto Ricans, that we know. You didn't know Sonia Sotomayor growing up? Come on. When I was in my mother's basement thinking that there was no room for me, look at me. I am a dyke. There is not a lot of room in my world in the United States. People aren't like, oh, I want to hire a dyke. They look at you like you don't belong in education. You shouldn't be around kids. You don't really fit at the bank. Could you please wear a dress? I felt like I was going to suffer under the weight of my identities and never be able to thrive and never be able to survive this. And that's me, little light-skinned, able-bodied me. Imagine as your identities compound what it's like to survive. So when I was reading her autobiography in my mother's basement, hoping that one day this little book I wrote could make its way out into the world, I had her story. I had her story and the blocks that she grew up in, and her saying, this is for you. You can do it too, and you must do it as well. And now, like I said, remember how we were talking about how I think that because I'm queer, I have magical powers? Remember that? Yeah. We can manifest our own destinies. I don't know, I never grew up with Sonia Sotomayor, but somehow she found out about this comic and she sent me a letter. That is the manifestation of a new destiny, one where we are part of the same world. This is, I just did some time travel, futuristic stuff because we were never supposed to meet, right? They always make it seem like since you're the only one, you are an island unto yourself. But there's always a before and an after. Our ancestors are living with us, and they have left us work. And so this, oh my gosh, this is proof to me, again, I deserve to be here. The work that I'm doing is important. And whatever folks have told me that I cannot do is the thing that I must do.